Hello to you all, and welcome to Pyramid Energy. I have no idea what we're reading about today, but I'm going to pull a Celtic cross. Okay, I've laid the spread out on the screen. I'm speaking to someone who is moving in a particular direction. Okay, this reading it feels more energetic than usual. By that, I mean, this is very much how your energy is interacting with those around you and affected people, which is affecting you and how you feel and your movement. And so I see you moving in a specific direction. Okay, if you look at the center, I've got the Three of Swords clarified by the Ace of Pentacles. And I see it clearer now, but for some reason at the beginning, I felt like there is an energy pull happening between this Three of Swords and the Five of Swords in your surrounding factors that's clarified by the wheel. And so there is a shift that is being felt around you that is causing some kind of strife, okay? Like a mental fog and an inability to figure out how things are going to work if you keep changing in this way. An inability to accept that you are changing, and the change that is taking place in you, that these people or this person or this situation around you, the change they're seeing you kind of make has a lot to do with a clear shift in direction that's kind of observable. They can see you moving in a certain direction, and also on top of that, you're moving differently. You're moving with a different type of sort of command over your authority and your personal authority. So this is affecting how you speak. This is affecting the types of things you're willing to talk about and the kinds of things that previously perhaps you would have shied away from talking about. Okay, the things you are willing to point out. You're moving with a kind of courage. And this is new. I see that from the Death and Rebirth card in your recent past, clarified by the King of Wands. And so there's a new sense of sort of leadership, vision. And so this means that when you speak, when you sort of move, it is clear that your movements are guided by some kind of vision that is not fully understood by others. Okay, and so this is causing confusion in others, and that whatever is around you, the people around you, the person, and I definitely get that for some of you it is a person, and for others of you it is a set of people, whether that's a community or it's a set of people, whatever that is. But most certainly there is also a person for some of you, and for some of you it is both. And so by that, I mean this could actually be playing out in more than one area of your life. Here, it's with a person. There, it's with a set of people. But the key thing to understand here is that this is how the energy around you and your environment is actually reacting to your shift. And where I see you coming from a space where you have felt quite decisive. This is also what's contributed to you basically taking action on your vision and your direction. It's felt, even though maybe nothing is actually, there's no tangible difference yet. And so you haven't actually executed fully on your vision, but it's evident, like it's any time now. You know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing Queen of Pentacles. And what I'm seeing as I have the card in my mind's eye, I'm seeing sort of like a pregnancy. I'm seeing a woman of value, okay, because that's the queen is a female. So just to take the energy of what I'm referring to, not necessarily the gender that I'm referring to. And so this is someone who has something not just up their sleeve, it's happening. Okay, it's like a pregnant woman. It's happening. There is a baby is growing. You haven't met the baby has not come out yet, but it's very clear that it is a baby that is on its way. Okay, so it's kind of like that. And it feels like there's a level of investment, okay, in this situation by that, I'm touching on something like whatever you are moving towards is highly considered. Like it's, you've thought about it. You are producing something or walking towards something or taking action towards something that is, you've put value into it. This value is a part of you. It is worth something to you. Not just that, it is going to be worth something to your environment. With that said, okay, and I'm picking up a lot of hesitation in your movement, and I was going to touch on that, but I'll get to that. With that said, in terms of that it's going to be of value to your environment, there are certain this environment of yours that is unsettled by your direction that they see you moving in. There is a perceived sort of loss that's going to take place for, let's call it, some of these people. Some of these people feel like they're going to lose something if you keep moving in this direction and keep going the way you look like you're going. Okay? And it's got this sense of, how is this going to work out for me? How is this going to work out for me? As if someone feels like they will be disadvantaged if this baby comes into the world. Okay? It's either they would rather things do not change, or that things change but in a different direction. It's like the direction you're moving in just causes discomfort. It seems like it's got to do with progress, because I see progress in your advice. In the 9 of Pentacles, I see something growing. I see progress. I see these pentacles multiplying. I see whatever it is that you are growing and moving towards, I see it growing. Okay. I also see that you are focused on, this is now solar plexus energy coming up. You are focused on expanding. You are focused on moving forward. You are focused on presenting this, revealing it. I'm seeing that in the Knight of Wands and the Star. And so I see that you are wanting to move forward. However, this discomfort that you're experiencing, it's as though as you move towards this thing, as you gather up the feeling inside of yourself and want to sort of advance towards this thing, there's a feeling of feeling pulled back. So you can feel the reaction of those around you almost trying to pull you back. However, the way I'm reading this, it's as if you maybe have not made that link. It's possible that you have not actually linked this sort of resistance you're feeling without explanation as you move forward. Perhaps it's something you thought is just coming from inside of you, which yes, it is. However, it is your energetic reaction to the reaction of your movement. Okay, so it's a little bit of it's like should I say vicious cycle. So there's this feedback loop. You are wanting to move forward. It sends a message outside. The message from outside sends you a message saying move back. And so it feels somewhat like counterintuitive to keep pushing forward. Okay. And if you look at this 3 of Swords next to the Ace of Pentacles, it is saying like you there's this resistance in your heart, and there's this felt discomfort. So you're and it's in the middle. It's where you're sitting. So you're sitting in this discomfort, yet you want to move forward. You've just decided that you are moving forward on something, and in your subconscious, I have the 6 of Cups, but the main card was the 6, the Lovers. Okay, so these are 2 6s, and so this is very much wanting to stabilize in a place that you feel will make you happy, in a not just happy. Okay, so this is not just about joy. They're talking about progress quite a lot here. They're talking about progress. Okay, so obviously the idea of progress pleases you, even though you are, it seems like, possibly in a tricky situation. Okay, but you are sort of pro-progress. And so when you want to see change in a place, you support that change. You will not be part of what holds it back. and be counter progressive. And so it pleases you and your system and your mind and your sense of this direction is going to be best for me, for all of us. So let me move in that direction. It makes you feel good, the idea of doing this, and it very much feels like you feel like you'd be doing the right thing by moving in this direction. And not just that, this is 2 6s is like, it's got karmic energy, like, okay, so if I put this in, this is going to be the result, and then this, like a positive feedback loop. Sorry for interrupting myself there, but it's like a positive feedback loop that you know you will get if you move in this direction, especially because it seems like it's very much aligned with the greater good, even for those around you, even for those who don't believe it will serve them well. And you will find that there's a possibility that some of these people that are resistant to change, the reason they are this way is because they are sort of stuck in a certain way of living and a certain way of having things run, because they're used to that and it used to work, and they haven't quite weighed up and sort of made the link between how the old way doesn't work and how the new way is progressive. And so the old way is not working, where they are sort of stuck, and the new way they don't quite understand because there's like a different set of rules and a different way of doing things, and they can't quite control things the way they're used to controlling them there. But the challenge here, okay, and what I'm pointing out is that they are in, like, they don't have good options. The past option is outdated, it doesn't work, and the future possibility that you may be leading everyone towards, they're not happy with that either. And so they are like actually just disgruntled. They're not happy. And if you were to ask them what they want, it's unclear whether they have a clear answer. It's as if they were to give you an answer, it would become very clear that their answer is no good solution. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit in the outdated program, and it doesn't fit in the new one. And so that's what we call stuck. And I'm seeing clearly now the reason we're actually even touching on this is what they're trying to show you here, okay, is that because you're receiving this reaction to your forward movement, to your progress, even just energetically, this energetic aspect of this is your first step towards stabilizing this direction you're moving in, and your momentum and your movement, your forward movement, right? Because it's still energetic. And they're saying that if you rely on this particular feedback loop to ease things up for you, you're going to wait some time. And so what they're saying is to recognize what's going on in terms of the source of this feedback loop, this environment that's around you that's not reacting well to your forward movement and your progress, to recognize that it's not going to change its mind and accept that things are moving in a different direction and send you good wishes and forward movement. And it's not going to do that. Okay, it's not going to do that. And so they're saying you need to keep it moving. And they're acknowledging your reaction to this. And they're saying, okay, you are an empath. And so you feel a lot of things. And also a lot of the things you feel are very much actually understood in your system. By that, I'm referring to, you have like people that are empaths. And then you have people who have really engaged with their empathy through their body and through their intuition and through their understanding, okay? And just personal and spiritual development. To the point where if somebody is reacting a certain way, you have a sense of what that emotion, what that energy means. And so what happens as you are processing, especially as you're changing direction and shifting, some of these things sort of leak into your space and even into your almost like clarified understanding. And so you pick up on the energy. You feel the energy. You understand the energy says to you, don't move forward. Please move back. And it like kind of pulls you back. And so it's kind of felt and it's in your experience. But they're saying the purpose of this reading is to help you to decipher the source of those words, the source of those feelings. And it's not to say you are not feeling it, because you are feeling it. Okay, you are feeling it. It's in your energy. It's in the cards. You are feeling it. However, it's information that's looping back, because mentally you are in a forward moving space. Mentally you are in a like, I want quick progress. I'm manifesting. I have an opportunity here. And while you're receiving information on this opportunity, you're receiving this pain. You're receiving this resistance. You're receiving the reaction. And so they're sharing this to give you clarity. So to speed up your filter, to speed up your filter so you understand. And they're also showing me, again, with these sixes and that karmic sort of positive feedback loop that I referred to, they're showing me that there's a lot of back and forth at the moment. There's a lot you're sending out. There's a lot you're getting in. And that's why I have such a magnetic feeling between the Three of Swords and the Five of Swords, just these areas. Okay, and I see it in the area of what you want the most and fear the most. I see the Eight of Swords and the Devil, which is saying to me, you do want to get to understand all these thoughts and emotions. You want to, but you're also scared of getting stuck there because you have a different priority. If you actually look at the cards, look at the coloring of the cards. The Three of Swords in the center is very gray and gloomy. And then the area of what you want the most and fear the most is also sort of like this darkish coloring. And with the Five of Swords, it's also bringing this dark aspect to this. But all the rest of the cards are bright orange, bright red, pink. There's movement. I'm seeing fire. I'm seeing progress. I'm seeing movement. I've got fire. I think it's the second time I'm saying that. And then in your near future, I've got the Magician. And in your outcome, I have the Ten of Pentacles. And so that is really an indication of your direction. And another thing that points to the fact that you're actually receiving a lot of energy, and also that this is the source of this Three of Swords energy and sort of like the unsettled feeling it's causing around you, is in this area of what's crossing you, which is the Eight of Wands and the Hierophant. And so what you're receiving a lot is actually fast moving energy, a lot of information that relates to a relationship. I'm getting that from the Hierophant, and also lessons. And so what I'm talking about here is whatever it is you're receiving energy on or moving according to, and what's driving this driving force that you are enabling. Okay, because I see that very much. You're enabling this driving force to move through you and create progress in your environment and in yourself. Okay, what I'm seeing about it is that it is going to bring change. You know, the Hierophant is also the number 5, and you see the Five of Swords. So this is 5 as a number of change, and so it's going to bring change. And more than that, besides being a 5, with the Hierophant is like these lessons. It's giving me like, yes, karma, but like the right thing to do, truth, understanding. It's coming with all of that. And so what you are actually moving towards is a more integrated way of living. And that is hard to accept, because how we look at an integrated way of living and moving in this world, what we're talking about is, if you're dealing with an outdated system, a structure that is outdated, it doesn't make sense. What actually makes it not make sense is that there are new lessons that have not yet been taken into account and acted on. By this, I mean integrated. So you have lessons. Let's say you make mistakes, you get yourself into situations, and you take lessons, you take lessons from this. What do they say? You never pass up on a good crisis, something like that. Okay. So you don't take something that happens that creates a mess or doesn't work or hurts you or wounds you. You don't just, get up and keep moving. You might take some time and really think about what went wrong and think about, how did I get myself into this situation? And so there are outcomes from that, like whether it's internal or collaborative conversation that happens post-mortem, like afterwards, in the aftermath, you pick up on, what can be done differently next time. Okay? There are people who take this into account and change the way they move forward. And there are people who just keep doing the same thing. Okay? And so what I'm referring to is that this environment around you prefers to keep doing the same thing. And what I'm seeing about this style of people is their reluctance to actually change how they're doing things is actually just because they don't know another way. They don't yet know another way. They actually at times are of the impression that this way that you are moving towards is possibly naive, misinformed, inexperienced. I'm getting all these words that justify why we should stay in one place, why we do what we do, because this is why we do this, because we've always done it this way. And when we do this, this is what happens. And when you don't do it this way, this is what happens. This is actually, we're referring to the types of people who do not trust the world. This is not how it comes across initially, but the reason partly that they behave the way they do is inherently there's an absence of self-trust, a lack of self-trust. And then how that manifests is that you end up using these structures to protect you, to protect your way of thinking and behaving. It becomes safe because then it's supported. But then one day it stops working. It's actually not just one day suddenly. This is a progressive thing. And the unfortunate part is that as this change starts happening, and it happens progressively, through this process, these types of people, they don't take a subtle hint. Instead, they tend to double down on like how things were done. Okay, even though it's not producing the same fruit, it's not producing that kind of progress, it's not. The results are not the same. They are not getting good results. I'm going to tell you that from what I'm seeing in front of me and what I'm seeing in my mind's eye. They don't get good results anymore. So perhaps they used to get good results, okay? And they doubled down, which kind of is like, it's almost like this reversed way of integrating. And so they integrate this toxic understanding. Okay, and so then when things finally completely stop working and then they find themselves in the middle of nowhere, they're just unhappy with the way things are working and unhappy with the direction that you're kind of steering things towards. They're just unhappy. They're not satisfied. They're not at peace. Things are not working, but they kind of are trying to pull everything back to how it was. And it almost feels safer to rather, like misery likes company. And it's not just that. It's like we'd rather stay where we were doing things like that. Yes, I see it now. This has got to do with their own sense of personal value, because in this system, the old way, what you call the old way, they call the way. In the old way, at least this is what my value is, and this is what I am worth, and this is what people understand me to be, and this is my role, and I know how to do these things. The fact that the results are no longer coming out fruitfully is actually not the main point here. And so that's what we're dealing with. Another thing I'm seeing here is that when you consider this path of yours, you've noticed that it is actually not just improving you as a person, it's actually adding to how you feel, your sense of peace, your sense of goodness inside. There is a new light coming out from inside of you. You would have noticed lately that, yes, there's a lot going on around you, but inside, you are feeling better about yourself. You are feeling a different kind of healing. The type that you don't have to remind yourself to feel. The type that just seems to come out of inside of you. And because you've observed this, you're actually happy with yourself. You're feeling good about yourself. And so they're saying that is your sign that you are moving in the right direction. that is your sign. And so they want you to keep moving. And they're saying even if you need to move in silence, and what they mean is not to keep quiet, but they're saying to not feed that energy. And so to not explain yourself to it, to just keep moving. And every time, let's say I'm seeing you put a coin in, like when you invest any part of yourself, whether these are your thoughts or your ideas or your time, resources, okay, your energy. Every time you insert a coin, they're saying if you're feeling good inserting that coin, insert it, keep going. It's like it's investing, it feels like you invest your energy in a certain direction. And so invest your energy in that direction, but do not invest your energy into that negative feedback loop. Do not invest your energy into helping that surrounding energy to feel better about its thinking process and its rationale and all of that. So they're wanting you to channel your energy towards the progress. Okay, so again, it is moving in silence, but it's not actually silence we're referring to. We're saying silence is sort of like the absence of noise around the unsettled energy. This is not explaining and not helping feel better. That's what I mean. Okay? I'm going to leave this message here. At first when I saw the 3 of Swords, I was like, oh, why are we back here? That's how I felt. But then I kept laying out the cards and I was like, wait, this is your magnet. This is your magnetism that's drawing all of this information. And this is the contrast, showing contrast between that energy and where you are and everything around you, where you're from, where you're going, what you're thinking about, your choices, and the energy that's moving through you. Sending you all so much love.